Hello and welcome to the show. I'm here on Forza 7 today, going to build another car to tackle our Rallycross course, and that vehicle is the Sierra Cosworth, a car with plenty of motorsport pedigree, if you like, whether it be from rallying, whether it be from touring cars. Certainly, I think there is plenty of potential with the Sierra here, although this series has turned up many surprises. The Sierra could well challenge the Subaru. It could also struggle. Don't really know. To the upgrade shop we go. Now, of course, all the cars in this have got to be run all-wheel drive, so yes, we will have to change the Sierra's driveline. Now, we do have to keep the standard engine if it can get to the top of S-Class. I'm not sure. I think it might be able to, but we will have to sort of cross that bridge as we come to it. Tyres, the car will be run on race tyres. There's plenty of PI for me to play around with here, being a low C-Class car to begin with. So, yeah, we will get race tyres on the car. While, yes, our Rallycross circuit does deal with some dirt, it is still a predominantly tarmac track, because I'm using what I can with Forza. So, yeah, race tyres and a technical tarmac circuit at that. So yeah, we want race tyres. We are also going to want the Forza aero bits. Yes, that means changing the rear wing, but I want some downforce at the back. So there we go. Unfortunately, that is just the way it works on here. Sorry, Sierra, but we need that that rear wing. Brakes, of course, suspension, all of those bits will be upgraded to the race parts. Weight reduction, we should be able to get in this car, no problem as well. It starts off, it starts about £2,700. We add a couple of £100 when we make it all-wheel drive. It's probably going to end up as a relatively decently light car, certainly compared to some of the vehicles that have gone. We get about the £2,600 mark. Yeah, kind of there or thereabouts with what I would be expecting from the car. That's a good weight as well for a vehicle in this series. That is a okay, it's not going to be as light as the BAC, nor is it going to be as light as the Jeep. However, it's kind of around about what we saw from the Subaru. Now, engine time. What are we going to be able to get out of this car? Wow, bloody hell. Okay, so doesn't take much power for this car to jump up in terms of PI. I mean, that's not quite 100 PI just for the camshafts. Turbo? Yeah, going to be a decent amount of power from all of that. We probably will need to, near enough, max this engine out if we are going to be getting it to the top of S-Class. If we're going to be getting it to be competitive. It's not going to be, it's not going to be the most powerful car to have ever run in this series. Yeah, we're probably going to be looking at about just shy of 500 horsepower in this. Power to weight ratio, maybe not the most amazing. The best bet for this car is going to be quarter speed. That's where we're going to have to hope that it can make up some time. 488 horsepower is what we are going to achieve with this. Now, I might have to go and just check quickly the gearbox in this. Oh no, it will have been changed, of course. Because the car has had a drivetrain swap, things like the gearbox are automatically swapped out, which means we'll top out. Okay, this is going to have short gear ratios, but it is going to top out apparently about 170 miles an hour. We won't hit that around Virginia. We're not going to have that as a problem. 0 to 60, 2.8 seconds, not that far down on the Jeep. Not that far down on the Jeep. We can probably get some of these upgrades stuck in. They're only going to save us a couple of pounds, but they're not adding to the PI, so we might as well use them where we can. Driveline won't work. I have got the diff already installed. Yeah, this should be an interesting one. I don't think it's quite going to have the straight line speed. It doesn't quite have the power of the likes of the Jeep or the incredibly lightweight nature of the BAC. Fairly comparable. I think a little down on power perhaps to the Subaru, but maybe, just maybe, the Sierra will be able to make up its time when it comes to the corners. So, here we are at the Virginia International Raceway South layout, where the Sierra is going to have 5 laps around my slightly altered layout of the circuit to try and, well, go as fast as possible. A 1:14.3 is the time to aim for, set by the Subaru Impreza. A 14.5 from the BAC Mono sits in second, a 14.9 from the Jeep in third. if we can be getting into the 14s with this car, I mean, that's kind of the goal at the moment. That is kind of the goal. This is a very close series in terms of lap times. It's a very close series, in fact. Of all the build series I've done, this one is perhaps the closest spread, even with some of the ludicrous cars. It's, yeah, little differences will play a big part in this. It will make the difference between, you know, a good 2 or 3 positions, potentially. So, a good lap is going to be needed from the Sierra. As I perhaps expected, I don't think it's going to be a massively fast car in a straight line. While, yeah, okay, the top speed might technically be 170 miles an hour, I'm not sure we're going to be seeing, well, the 165 mile an hour mark is about the fastest we've seen cars achieve down this, or around this circuit so far, down the start-finish straight. But this... not so sure we're going to be seeing figures like that. The hope is that we can be composed, that we can be controlled elsewhere, and that we can then make up the time, well, through these corners, maybe on the dirt. The Sierra will be particularly good. I've overshot that corner completely. Whoopsie, don't mind me. No, I mean, we can recover this. Yeah, we'll recover it out the other side. It's just too wide on the way in. You're wasting a lot of time sliding across the grass. For well, so for no good reason, but you're wasting all of your time sliding across the grass, and that's not going to be particularly helpful up into the final corners we go. There's a couple of points of concern for the, well, say for the apex speed on that fast left-hander. We weren't going massively quick in terms of the exit. Certainly we were slower than we saw from, well, front-running cars. Okay, straight line speed, not as bad as I feared it might be, 155-ish miles an hour. Oh, although we are going to have to be earlier on the brakes down into turn 1. Thought we might be able to get away with that later braking point in this car. The answer is, yeah, the answer is very much no. Yeah, we're 10 miles an hour down on the Jeep, about 5 miles an hour down on the Subaru. That's, you know, stuff to be expected. The first lap wasn't a particularly great lap, especially a lot of time lost at the second hairpin. Feels pretty good through the first of the off-road sections. Now down here is where you really got to try and get things right. The trick for what we've seen so far is you want to get this exit as kind of straight as possible. You want to be getting back onto the tarmac as soon as you can to try and use the near 500 horsepower from this car's engine. We're a little bit better. I still think we're a slight bit down on some of the faster cars through there. Certainly not going to be flat out through that section like we have seen, well, maybe mainly from the Audi Quattro. Actually, the only one that's been flat out through that section. A couple of cars have got quite close to being flat, but yeah, it's not quite going to be able to carry that speed. A 17.4, it was a scruffy, explory turn 1, so definitely should be into the 16s. Whether we can, whether we can even get into the 15s, looking a little bit more of a challenge for this vehicle. I think the problem we might see here, we have good acceleration, don't get me wrong, we have good acceleration, but we don't have outstanding. And then through the corners there have been cars that are, well, better than it. It's not, again, it's not bad. I just don't think it's spectacular enough, perhaps. But, you know, couple more laps to go. You never know where you might be able to find some serious time. They're on a little wide into this happen again. It's all about trying to get that exit right. There we go. That's not too bad. Get the car turned. We might end up a little bit wide on the grass over here. That's not where we want to be putting the Sierra. Try slight different lines through all of that. There we go. That's more speed. That's more like it. From the Ford up towards this final corner we go once more. It is nice through here, I will give it that much. I mean, I might have overdriven it slightly. No, actually, that got we got that back all very nicely to the apex. Pretty good through that final corner. Only a fraction faster at 17.1. We are struggling with pace. We are struggling with pace in this car. 156 miles an hour. Oh, rear wheel on the grass ever so slightly in the braking zone. That is not what you want. Patience required around that first corner. I'd say it time and time again. It is a horrendously nasty turn 1 here. So easy to make just the littlest of mistakes and end up in an awful lot of bother. Now I'm trying a slightly different approach through here. It's very slow on the way in. The hope is that I can get more speed on the way out, and that does seem to be the way to go a lot of the time with these dirt sections. It's not spectacular. It won't look particularly impressive. However, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. If that's how you're going to get the lap time, that's the route that you want to take. We are 0.8 of a second up, which is nice if we can keep that 0.8 of a second up. Not going to be challenging the Subaru, I'm afraid. Even if we get an ultra-perfect lap, even if I get one of those magical laps where you find heaps of time, well, I'll say heaps of time. If we manage to find heaps of time, maybe, but it's looking like we're going to be a couple of seconds off, perhaps. 16.4, a better lap from the Ford, a bit more of a respectable lap from the Sierra. I'm really pushing my luck under brakes into turn 1. Really being as late as I dare under braking there, as twice now I managed to clip the grass on the way. I guess I'm just moving the car across that little bit too much. We are still going a fraction faster this time around as well. Oh, that might be a smidge wide on the way in. Can we manage to recover all of this? Again, not spectacular. Not spectacular through the first dirt section. Slight different approach that time around as well. I was just slightly wide on the entrance. There we go. Get it nicely across. Can we punch out the other side neatly? Third gear working well in that section. Yes, we have. We have found a good amount of time actually through all of that dirt section. It's a very good fast left-hander as well, just 2 more quarters to go. Still, even that time there was a bit of movement around from the back end. We weren't even on the grass. The back end's car does move about a bit under braking. I wasn't expecting that from the Sierra. It's been a good final lap. This, if we can finish it off, we can. A 15.2. We found some speed there. That was a magic final lap from the... You know what I said about finding that lap with sudden huge amounts of speed? That was that. Very, very good runs through the dirt section. Very good run through the fast left-hander. Good final corner. A little bit sketchy on the way into turn 1. Didn't really cost us any time. Just a bit scary when the back end's moving. But yeah, even coming into that kind of penultimate, well, kind of couple of turns, the back end moves around more under braking than I would have expected from the car. Either way, we found the lap time. We dragged the lap time out of that car. It's quite good fun to drive. But you've really got to work to get any speed out of it. It just doesn't feel as quick as quite a few of the cars that have gone. The lap time, it is very, very close. 15.239 is going to put the car into 6th place. It is going to put the vehicle into 6th, narrowly beating a Lancia 037. It doesn't quite beat the Volvo 242 or the Commodore. A low 15 is, yeah, a good time. A good time around this circuit. As I said, beats the Lancia, beats the Evo 10, beats the Audi Quattro, the Lincoln Continental, and so on. We are a second down, almost, on that Subaru, and I don't think there was much more time in this car. That was one of the better, I say one of the better, perhaps one of the best sort of final laps in terms of suddenly finding speed in the car. And we're still a second down on the Impreza. Yeah, a good car. Quite an easy car, I would say, to drive around here. Quite an easy car. Once you've got the braking figure out for turn 1, it is, yeah, quite a nice, comfortable vehicle to push hard around this circuit. But it has not quite got the speed. That, though, is going to be it for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.